At its peak, this one company sold more than half of all the mobile phones on the entire planet. It was a national treasure, a global icon, a giant that seemed untouchable. And then, in just a few short years, it almost completely disappeared. This is the story of Nokia, and the terrifying speed at which a king can fall when it refuses to believe the world has changed. To understand the fall, you have to understand just how enormous Nokia was. For years, Nokia phones were absolutely everywhere. They were famous for being tough, reliable, and simple. The batteries lasted for days. You could drop them and they wouldn't break. An entire generation's first mobile phone was a Nokia. Stick around, because this is a masterclass in how comfort and success can quietly become the seeds of total collapse. Nokia didn't just sell phones, it defined them. It set the standard for what a mobile phone was supposed to be. Its little startup jingle was one of the most recognized sounds on Earth. The company came from Finland, and it became the pride of the entire country, one of the biggest and most respected technology companies in the world. To most people, Nokia and mobile phones meant the same thing, and the business was a money-printing machine. Nokia shipped hundreds of millions of phones every single year. It dominated markets on every continent. Its engineers were brilliant. Its supply chain was the envy of the industry. By the mid-2000s, the idea that anyone could challenge Nokia's throne seemed almost laughable. It was simply too big, too dominant, too deeply established. And that confidence is exactly where the danger began. Then, in 2007, everything changed. A computer company from California, Apple, walked onto a stage and revealed something completely new: the iPhone. It had no physical keyboard. Almost the entire front was a single smooth glass touchscreen. It was really a small computer that happened to make calls. And it worked in a way people had never seen before. The world leaned in, fascinated. And how did Nokia react? According to many accounts, its leadership was dismissive. The iPhone had a short battery life. It was fragile. It was expensive. It couldn't survive being dropped like a good, solid Nokia could. Serious people, they reasoned, wanted reliable phones with real buttons, not delicate glass toys. Nokia looked at the future, compared it to its glorious past, and confidently bet on the past. But Nokia missed the single most important thing about the iPhone. It wasn't really about the phone at all. It was about the software and the apps. The iPhone, and soon Google's Android system, turned the phone into a platform, a place where thousands of developers could build games, tools, and services. The device in your pocket became a doorway to an entire digital universe. The hardware was just the beginning. Here is the tragic irony. Nokia was not stupid, and it was not lazy. In fact, Nokia had experimented with touchscreens and smart devices years before the iPhone. It had the talent and the resources to lead this revolution. But inside the company, its software was a tangled, aging mess. Its organization was bloated and full of internal politics. Different teams fought each other. The company was too comfortable, too slow, and too proud to tear down what had made it rich and start over. While Nokia hesitated, the world moved at lightning speed. Apple and Android phones got better, cheaper, and more addictive every year. Their app stores exploded with millions of apps. Customers didn't just want a phone anymore. They wanted a smartphone, a pocket computer. And every month that Nokia clung to its old ways, the gap between it and the future grew wider and more impossible to close. The numbers began to turn, and then they collapsed. Nokia's share of the smartphone market fell off a cliff. Customers who had been loyal for a decade switched to iPhones and Androids and never looked back. The money-printing machine sputtered and started losing enormous amounts of cash instead. In a stunningly short time, the most dominant phone company in history went from king of the hill to fighting for its survival. There is a famous moment that captures the panic. Nokia's own new CEO wrote a memo to staff comparing the company to a man standing on a burning oil platform in the freezing sea. forced to jump into the icy water just to have a chance of surviving. It was a desperate admission. The company finally understood it was on fire. But by then, the flames were everywhere, and the exits were closing fast. In a last dramatic gamble, Nokia abandoned its own software entirely and partnered with Microsoft, betting its future on the Windows Phone system. It was a huge, all-in wager, and it failed. Windows Phone never caught on with the public. The apps people wanted weren't there. Customers had already fallen in love with iPhone and Android, and they simply would not switch to a third option no matter how nice the hardware was. And so came the unthinkable ending. In 2013, Nokia sold its mobile phone business, the very heart of the company, to Microsoft. The proud Finnish giant that had once ruled the mobile world gave up making the phones that had made it famous. Tens of thousands of jobs were lost across the years of decline. The brand that had been synonymous with mobile phones effectively vanished from the pockets of the world. Now, Nokia the company did not entirely die. It reinvented itself quietly as a maker of the network equipment that powers the world's phone systems, the hidden machinery behind the scenes. It survived. But the Nokia everyone knew and loved, the king of the mobile phone, was gone forever. A giant that had touched billions of hands had been humbled almost to nothing. So what is the lesson buried in Nokia's fall? It's one of the most important and most frightening in all of business. Nokia was not destroyed by laziness or stupidity. It was destroyed by success. Its dominance made it comfortable. Its past made it proud. And that pride made it slow to believe that a smaller, hungrier rival could possibly know something it didn't. It defended the world as it was, instead of racing toward the world as it would become. The deepest lesson is this: the thing that makes you powerful today can become the exact thing that blinds you tomorrow. Nokia's strengths, its reliable hardware, its huge organization, its proud culture, all became weaknesses the moment the game changed. It couldn't imagine a future that looked different from its glorious past. So ask yourself, when the ground shifts beneath a giant, will it have the courage to jump before the platform is fully on fire? If you enjoyed watching this empire fall, subscribe, because next time we've got another giant that never saw it coming.